Ranking SDRA2 deaths plus executions.
It was alright, but the execution of Ray and Monocro weren't really executions per se, they were just being burned to the crisp, which is brutal in its own right, but this wasn't like other constructed executions. Kyoka's death was sad, but it wasn't as brutal as the others. It was made to be the first death, so it makes sense. It's also the same for Kakaru, but he might go in a higher tier since his death had meaning to it. Hajime and Mit's executions were brutal. It's linked with their talents and it fits as the first execution, but there were other better executions. Ray's execution had like an element of surprise, so I guess it's higher. The Chapter 5 fake executions were amazing, it's just individually I think they were okay.
These deaths were very memorable and haunting. I like how Yuri is an astronaut who is supposed to go up, but he falls down to his death. All these characters in this rank share soulless eyes filled with anguish. Setsuka's death was horrifying. Undoubtedly, Haruhiko and Kazuna's death had a story behind it. One was love, and the other was betrayal.
The pairing of symbolism and their talents together was well put. Makako's death representing the end of hope, and it circles back to Atsuro's death representing the end of despair. Emma and Ayam's execution took advantage of her talent and her character, one of the best. Yamato's death had a huge surprise element to it, and it's ironic how he was essentially the leader, or the protagonist, but he died as a scapegoat. I loved Satsuki's sacrifice, but I think a circus theme would have fit better. Akane's sacrifice completed her character, and it was amazing. Teruya's death had amazing parallels because he stole food in the ballroom chapter and then died by consuming poisoned food. He wasn't willing to sacrifice himself in the prequel, but he sacrificed himself in the sequel. I did an analysis on Kokoro and the potential symbolism behind her death. Nevertheless, her death immediately horrifies you. I hope we get to see Nikiai's backstory, otherwise I would have rated his execution higher. Noticed how Satsuki went up, love, and Nikiai fell down, hate, in their executions. But FR, Lineage gave the most disturbing death in the prequel to the most innocent character. You can't even recognize Inori's face. Her parents passed away in a fire and she got electrocuted to a crisp, like death was not going to let her escape the second time. She even died because she was too nice to be in the lab in case anyone got hurt. SDRA wouldn't be the same without the Oten Akoji twins' execution. Hibiki getting revenge on Kanade with tears, the chain representing their unbreakable bond. If a twin goes forward, the other one gets pulled up, showing how only one of them can be in control of their relationship. The fact that Kanade was hanging on a chain like puppet despite her being the one pulling the strings, emotionally and in terms of talent. It was the only non-void execution, and the player doesn't even get the satisfaction of defeating Kanade because she gets what she wants at the end. She literally dies laughing. It really fits the abnormality of a Chapter 3. At first I didn't think much of Shinji's death, but after thinking about it, I think it was perfectly executed. He was a firefighter and he died in a fire. He was scared of the snow because of his PTSD, but he chose not to die in the cold and chose warmth. His trauma made him believe that he was a coward who left someone to die, but he sacrificed himself to save Yuki. His death signified how his trauma does not define his strength for compassion and bravery, something none of the cast couldn't achieve. Shinji's death also mislead the player, thinking it was Sora who died, which definitely catches the player off guard, and that switch was one of the things I loved about this game. Uehara's execution was a highlight from the prequel. Him being crucified like the Christ because he was the ultimate priest, and then blasted off to space, perhaps the concept of ascension. But the crucifix fell back down and crushed him deep inside the earth, as if he went to hell instead for brutally killing his friend. The irony is that, unlike the Christ, Uehara died for his own sins. Uehara's execution reflected on religious conflict, how the crucifix, supernatural, turned into a rocket, scientific, how the priest was the one responsible for a double murder, and Inori's painful death. His beliefs in peace conflicted with his loss of faith and hope at the end. But he did it to save his children, ultimately showcasing the pacifist side of religion and the side that certain people turn religion into a scapegoat to express hatred.